Okay, so the latest Tottenham transfer news, there's been a further update and some further news regarding Christian Eriksen's transfer, and Paul Pogba comes into the picture. So I've got some news in on that one. Made a video a couple of days ago where we looked at Lo Celso as a possible replacement for Tottenham, and there's been some news come in from people closer to Real Madrid, which could impact the transfer. Now, before we get into that, I just wanted to mention some sad news about the passing of ex-Tottenham player Justin Edinburgh, who died yesterday. He was age 49. He had a big cardiac arrest a few days ago and sadly passed away yesterday. Now, I remember him playing back in the 90s. I think he played for Southend and Portsmouth, but most people remember him as a Tottenham Spurs player in the 1990s. I think he played for 10 years, from 1990 to 2000. Storming fullback, terrific fullback, great pace. Could easily have played in a Premier League side today, and he won the FA Cup with Spurs and won the League Cup with Spurs. But what's really sad, at age 49, he's obviously was manager of Leyton Orient last year, and he was just starting to have some real success as a manager. He got Leyton Orient promoted back into the Football League, which is a tremendous achievement. And this is a guy who started his managerial career at Billericay Town and went through various clubs, Grays Athletic, Northampton, etc. And it looks like he was just starting to break into some success, real success with his managerial career. So our thoughts go out to his family. Some real sad news from yesterday. Okay, so on to the Christian Eriksen transfer. Now, since I did the video a couple of days ago, there's been some news coming from a very reliable source that he's quite close to Real Madrid, and the news out of Real Madrid is that they're looking at Christian Eriksen and Paul Pogba. Now, that's no great news. Both players have expressed their desire to go to Real Madrid, and it seems to be that the lure of Real Madrid beats all other clubs, and particularly if you're a midfielder, with Zidane as manager, a great midfielder in his time, the lure of going to play for Real Madrid and Zidane developing you as a player probably is very hard to turn down. But I understand that Real Madrid will only take one or the other. They won't take both, and more importantly, it's split within Real Madrid who they feel they should be going for. Now, the president is very much a Christian Eriksen fan, and he wants Christian Eriksen. Zidane is very much a Paul Pogba fan, and he wants Paul Pogba. Now, two very, very different players. When you look at them on the pitch, Christian Eriksen looks a little bit more silky. Paul Pogba is more a power central midfielder. Both come out with some good stats when they're performing. Great goals, great assists. Both very different players, very different personalities, and I'd be interested to hear in the comments who you would go for if you were Real Madrid manager or president. Would it be Pogba? Would it be Eriksen? Now, Eriksen is probably going to be a cheaper transfer for Real Madrid, and that does come into play as well. Paul Pogba with Raiola as his agent, he's going to be, his package is going to cost a lot more, and I suspect his transfer fee would be a lot more. Now, you're going to be talking in the region of 70 million-ish for Eriksen, and Man United, I'm sure, will want more than that for Pogba. No doubt Levy will as well, but he's got his hands tied a little bit on this one. Now, Real Madrid can't sign both, probably don't want both of them, but financially it isn't going to work for them. Now, I understand that their transfer dealings this year, the transfer spending plus the money coming in from sales, and there's a lot of sales to be done at Real Madrid, they only really can have a net spend outgoing of about 100 million or so, somewhere in that region, to make sure they comply with the financial fair play. Now, they've already spent 88 million plus add-ons for Hazard. Jovic has gone for, we think, 53 million. Mendy, the fullback from Lyon, it's not signed yet, and Lyon are being a bit cagey and saying that's not happening, but from what I understand, that will happen, and that will be somewhere in the region of 50 million. And Real Madrid love a flying fullback, and I think he'll fit perfectly there. Now, that's 100 and close to 200 million. So there's some sales to be done before you even start with signing Pogba or Eriksen at 70, 80 million pounds. Now, the Real Madrid squad have got about 35 in the first team squad, which is, how do you manage that if you're Zidane and keep everyone happy? I'll never know. That's a job and a half in itself. But they will have to sell. Now, Daniel Levy, my reaction to my last video when I was speaking to Spurs fans, quite mixed. And it's probably, on balance, most Spurs fans, are happy to see Eriksen go. Some wish him well, think, Spurs have had 6 good years from him, and probably others are saying Spurs have probably seen the best of Eriksen. Other people are quite sort of negative towards him in that they feel that he goes missing in some big games, and both him and Pogba can both be accused of that in terms of their commitment at times and sort of digging in the trenches when it really matters. So both of them can be accused on that. Now, whatever your view on Eriksen, he's a big player to replace, and I think Levy really needs to get on and look for a replacement now, and perhaps take a leaf out of Real Madrid's booking. And rumour has it he's still trying to find his checkbook. It's not been out for a long time, but I think he needs to try and get some business done early on in the transfer window, and then that puts him a little bit more back in control of the situation, knowing that he's got things covered. Now, Real Madrid have done it. They've been quite keen getting out in the gate in the transfer window with the 2 signings confirmed and others that are sure to follow. Now we wait and see. But the news coming out from Real Madrid is that it will either be Pogba or Eriksen, but not both. They can afford to let the Eriksen one drag on, because then that puts the pressure on Spurs. But I think, if they see they can get Pogba for the sort of figures they want, they could well come in, snap him up, and then that closes the door on Eriksen. Now, we know that Inter Milan are interested, but would Eriksen want to leave Spurs to go to Inter Milan? It starts closing down the possibilities there. So if I was Levy, I would start getting some business done. It's obviously not as easy as that. There's lots of things happening behind the scenes that we probably never hear about. But it'd be interesting. Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. That would help the channel. Let me know in the comments, if you were Real Madrid manager Zidane, would you sign Pogba? Would you sign Eriksen? Bear in mind that Pogba is going to cost you a little bit more. And also interested in your thoughts, would you want to keep Eriksen, or do you think now's the time to go? Thanks for watching.